This is Living Power with Dan Hurst.
You've made yourself the source, and your source is God. When you ask, you don't receive because you ask with the wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your own pleasures. Suppose God wants to use that money for something else. Suppose it's not about you. Hello. You adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world is hatred toward God? Anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God. The Bible makes it very, very clear that if you are motivated by circumstances, if you're motivated by a situation, if something, the situation itself becomes the motivation, then you are acting on the basis of emotion and worldly concepts. So how are we to be motivated? Well, motivated by God means that you make your choices in obedience to God, not in response to the circumstances. Let me say that again. Motivated by God means that you make your choices in obedience to God, not in response to the circumstances. Listen, if I was motivated by circumstances, I would never be here on Sunday. I would be in other places around the world feeding the hungry and taking care of the sick. When I know what's going on in the world because of, having the international life that I had, I know the circumstances. Those of you who have been to mission trips with me, you've seen that kind of poverty and that kind of circumstance in the world. And what you want to do is you want to go back and you want to help those people and you want to do everything you can. If I designed my own life, I would be living my life somewhere where I was taking care of sick people every day and feeding them and providing and taking care of their needs. I would want that. That's where my heart is. And when I see people who are hungry and I see those commercials on TV about, feed a starving child and so forth and so on, I get, it's like a Hallmark commercial for me. I just feel like I'll do it, whatever I can do. I want to take care of that, but I realize that I can't do all of that, nor has God called me to do all of that. That's when I'm being motivated to respond to the circumstances. But God says that's not how I want you to be motivated. I want you to be motivated in obedience to God because this is what God wants me to do. And here's the secret. If I am just simply motivated to respond to the circumstances, I will fail. But if I'm motivated to be obedient to God, by obeying God, I succeed. Every time. It is total, absolute success. If I respond to the circumstances, that's my motivation, I will fail. But if I'm motivated to be obedient to God, it will be successful every time. How do I know that? Because Psalm 37:4 says it. If you delight yourself in the Lord, you put your focus on being the pleasure to God. God, I just want a right relationship with you. I want to be pleasing to you. I want what's right for you. Delighting in the Lord, another way of saying, is putting a smile on God's face. If you just seek to put a smile on God's face, He will give you the desires of your heart, which does not mean that you're going to have a new Cadillac in your driveway when you get home. It means that He will begin to put desires in your heart to do the things that He wants you to do. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will begin to motivate you to do the things that He wants you to do. That's what that Bible verse says. It's the greatest motivation principle in the world. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will begin to put His desires in your heart. He will begin to motivate you to do what you want to do. And it's amazing because a lot of us as Christians, we're going, I really want to be obedient to the Lord. I'm really seeking at the Lord, but there's no way and I really want to do this, but surely God doesn't want me to do something that I want to do. We think that way. We think that God doesn't want us to do something that we really, really want to do. And we forget that what this verse is saying is, well, maybe that's exactly what God's wanting you to do. Maybe He's motivating you to do that. Get off your backside and go do it. If God's motivated you to do it, do it. If you're delighting in the Lord, you really want to be obedient to God, you want to please Him, and there's this burning motivation in your heart, this desire to do this, do it. Listen, if it's not God's will and you're really wanting to do God's will, He'll shut the door before it's too late. I know that for a fact. Listen, we need to get serious about what God's saying, and He's simply saying that, look, if you want to stop messy lives, then you need to start doing it God's way. And quit looking for all these little little answers that the world gives you and just do what God says. And one of the ways that he says that you are going to clean up messy lives is to be motivated by God and not by the circumstances. And when God motivates your heart, when God says, this is what I want and this is what I want you to seek, then, man, you need to go do it. I was always so afraid in my life that, what if God wants me to be like a missionary, in some tribe that wants to spear me, and they want to eat me alive or something. What if? There are no what if mission boards. God never acts on what if. There is not a what if department in heaven. God says, this is the way I motivate you. When you're delighting in me, when you're seeking my pleasure, I will begin to motivate you to accomplish what I want you to accomplish. Trust that. Trust it. And then, not only did Isaac focus on his calling and his responsibility, which was to continue the covenant promise that was given to Abraham, you need to seek what God is seeking to accomplish. Seek what God is seeking to accomplish.
Only by your blood, and it's only through